Didi, I want to ask a question that there is no black magic, but still there is jinn possession. Is it possible? Can you please explain on it?
Yes, now this is absolutely possible. In fact, I've been talking about this also in one of my books. My first book, Corporate Chick Turns into a Spiritual Healer. People who have read this book, they would understand that they're already aware of it, that this happens. But today, for the viewers who would like to know about this, that if there is no black magic, that means if there is no human involved for any such evil practices of possession in your body or in your life, then is it possible that any direct supernatural entity, which we are talking as a jinn at this point of time, can directly come into your life? Definitely, 110% this is possible. Cases have been here. Now how this happens, let me explain you in few of the major points here. Now listen, first of all, there are two kinds of, like we have in humans, female gender and the male gender. You have two genders here also in jinn's category, the male jinn and the female jinn. Now really depending on which one has directly influenced your life, that really depends on once you do the case study or once you understand that what activities are happening in your life. Now what those activities can be and how would you know that this is happening directly to you? For example, you're going to a place which is little isolated, a place which is maybe a house. Let's take an example of a city that you go for rented accommodations, to find rented accommodations in cities. These days you have such high-rise buildings in which, you know, people take it for investment and nobody stays there for a long time. The owner does not stay there. So sometimes it's 2 years, 3 years, those particular houses are just closed. No cleanliness is happening out there. Nobody is going there. No human touch or no human entrance is happening out there. So these jinns find these kind of isolated and dirty places to stay in. Now since I told you in the previous series that they also have a family, they also are living a parallel life the way we are living. So they do everything like I explained in the family like the humans do. So for example, they have found your house to be, you're not aware of this, they have just found your house to be their own house now. And you sometimes enter that particular place to show it to somebody maybe after a couple of years, or to just simply, you know, go yourself and say, okay fine, let me get this clean today for a change. You enter that place and of course you can't see the jinn, you can't see the symptoms of the jinn, but the jinn can of course see you and the family of the jinn can see you. Now for example, if that jinn starts liking you, for example you're a female and there's a male jinn and he feels attracted towards you. Why will he feel attracted towards you? The next question. Listen, it can be anything. It's something like why a human gets attracted to another human. It can be the body attraction. It can be simply, he can just like your personality, the way you're talking, the way your fragrances. Yes, the fragrance is a very important point here. You've asked me this question. The perfumes, especially the jasmine perfume. In the Muslim language, we call it itr. There are different kinds of itr which has fragrances. Okay, these fragrances of the itr in excess attracts the jinn, section. They love it. So if you have any perfume which they are getting attracted to, they would want to come along with you and stay along with you. This is the starting point. The perfume. Maybe you have long hair. The girl has a long hair, and he or she feels attracted towards it. Same is for the female jinn. She can be attracted towards your body fragrance, to your perfume fragrances, to anything. Now this is something very difficult to say that why a jinn will be attracted towards you. But yes, seeing the naked bodies. For example, you're taking a bath and there's a jinn all around somewhere, and the person is seeing your body, the naked body. So naked bodies are very, very attractive things for any supernatural entities, not just the jinn. So 3 things I've told you already. One is the hair, one is the perfume, and then the third is the naked bodies. So anything that out of these attracts the jinn. Now he's decided, he or she, the male or the female jinn, that now this particular person belongs to me. Now this again is another second series to it. The second point to be considered in this is that what is the jinn wanting out of you after getting attracted towards you? There are few jinns who want to marry you. Yes, this will be strange to hear for all the viewers. But seriously, I'm telling you, there are some jinns who want to marry that particular human that they think or they have considered to be, their own possession or their own obsession. So what they do, they would come and they would first of all make you feel the presence. Now this is the time when you start feeling scared. When you tell me that, I feel there is something with me, I feel somebody is sitting, the mattress got pressed, or I felt that somebody has entered the room and is lying down with me in the bed. There are some females who have been talking about that, they feel when they're sleeping that somebody is trying to forcefully have a physical relationship with them, and they can actually feel everything, okay? Like in a normal intimate process a human will feel when you're close to partner, but they cannot see anything, they cannot do anything, they can't even shout because their voice is being blocked. The jinn has a capacity to block your voice, the sound of your chakra system, it has a capacity to do that. So if these things are happening with you of course, and certain other signals, so you can easily understand that there is something which is highly wrong with me, and then you start feeling scared, and then you run to a specialist or a tantric. Now another very important reason is it can be an ancestors fight. In previous days and even in today's days, in the small cities or in the areas, even in the urban areas for that matter, there have been stories, and these are true stories, these are facts, in fact I would not even call them stories, in which willingly or unwillingly you have disrespected the jinn anytime. Now disrespect can happen, of course not if you're not aware of it, that if you do this particular thing. For example, if they're staying on a tree, or if they're staying in a particular place, and you just simply say that I want to buy this land, and on that particular piece of land if the jinn family is staying and you trying to get him out of his own space, his family and his space, he can simply get aggressive about the fact, he can simply not like this fact, and in the enmity form he can simply say that yes, okay, fine, if this person is doing this to my family, I will make disasters happen on this person who's doing this. So in a way he starts taking revenge from you in a slow poison activity, okay? You don't even understand what's happening with you. One is that. So, and the second form of revenge is much more higher, when okay, fine, this generation is finished, this generation have done the enough damage, and for example if you have willingly or unwillingly killed a child, or any tantric you go to and you say that I think there is something wrong with me and my family, what is happening, and the female jinn was pregnant for that matter, and something wrong the tantric has done to that lady. So of course, like I told you in the previous video, that you will actually have to pay for your sins, whatever you have done. Now this is also a sin, because if a jinn is not disturbing you and you have disturbed a jinn, of course now you will say you never knew about it, how would I know that there is a jinn sitting here? I wouldn't have harmed, I would have left that place, I wouldn't have bought that land. But see, these are all the things, these are hypothetical things, that if this would have happened, then I would have done this. But if this has actually happened in your karma system, then of course you can't run away from this fault of yours. So this is there. So these are the few things wherein the jinn can directly possess you and directly harm you. There is no human required, there is no tantra required, there is no tantric required. So be very careful. You are not supposed to, that is the reason they say that after sunset don't roam here and there. But these days the nightlife is so much, especially in the urban areas, people do not listen, and they think that in the cities actually these things do not prevail. But let me tell you, the 90% or 95% of the foreigners and the overseas clients that we take care of, we are talking about New York, we are talking about Singapore, we are talking about Switzerland, we are talking about around the globe. I mean the most commercial, Washington DC, I mean come on, these are the most developed cities. And what about nightlife, and what about the commercial aspects? People are facing paranormal activities out there. People are really trapped into the jinn categories, the witchcraft, so much is happening. So you need to wake up and get out of this thought system and this process that city life is not having any of the paranormal activities. In fact, now city life is having more paranormal activities than the rural areas. You have to believe in this. If you do not believe, go and research on Google, try and get books on this, and you will find ample signals and you will find ample points out there. Okay, so well, I hope this answer has solved and clarified your doubts that you had about this topic. That's about it.